Ein richtig spannender Shooter auf der Gamescom ist Titanfall, wo normale Soldaten ziemlich flink mit Jetpacks gegen Soldaten antreten, die in großen Mech-Roboter durch die Gegend wanken, die jede Menge Schaden austeilen. Das Ganze wirkt trotzdem ziemlich ausgewogen, kommt von Respawn Entertainment, dem Studio der Ex-Infinity Ward Studio-Bosse. Und ich habe hier Abbie zur Hand, die ist Community Managerin und erklärt mir jetzt ein bisschen was zu Titanfall. Und dafür switche ich jetzt mal to English. And cheers, Abbie. Could you just for the camera introduce yourself briefly?
Sure. Hi, I'm Abbie Heppe. I'm the community manager for Respawn Entertainment.
So, Titanfall. What idea? The idea to have this mechs fighting against humans. Was this the basis of the game? Was this the point where it all started?
No, it wasn't really. I think we played around for a very long time with different design mechanisms and how to create sort of the most fun game that we could. And one of our artists creates these amazing scale models of the Titan. The one that you see in Gamescom is based off of that. And I think one day he had one of those and put a small figure next to it, and it was sort of this light bulb of like, oh wow, look at that. That could be a really fun mechanic to play with. So. It was just experimentation and developing, and now we ended up with Titanfall.
Yeah, what we're seeing so far looks pretty good, but having this asymmetric features in there, having big stuff, small people in there, must be very hard to balance this. Can you give us a few hints on how to counter Titans as a foot soldier and what Titans can do against those pesky foot soldiers with their rocket launchers?
Sure. One of the things that the scale lets us do is we have this really great cat and mouse gameplay. So you have all these buildings and places for the pilots to hide. They have rocket launchers. They have special weapons that are designed to take down the Titans. So it's a lot of dodging in and out, and their mobility, how fast they are, the wall running, lets them escape in really cool ways. You'll see them bouncing up the buildings to get away and ducking behind corners. They're really, you're right, it is a really big challenge to balance that kind of thing. We've worked very hard at it, and I think we're really at a point where it doesn't matter if you're pilot or Titan, you're going to have some way to defend yourself one against the other.
Can you tell me a bit more about the game world where this all is set in?
Sure. We call the game world the frontier, and it's sort of planets that are on the brink of space. They've been colonized by settlers, and there's this battle between the IMC, which is the one faction in the game, sort of more corporate interests, definitely trying to make the most of the resources the land has to offer. And then you have the M-Corps, the militia. They are fighting against the IMC, trying to steal their resources. They say they act on behalf of the settlers of the world, but we like to keep it a little bit of a gray area, who's the bad guy and who's the good guy, because we want you to play as both sides.
And it's a multiplayer shooter, and you're having a kind of a story. It's not easy to convey a story with a multiplayer shooter. Lots of studios tried it. How are you trying to do that?
Sure. Well, the part that we're showing here is campaign multiplayer. There are more traditional game modes that we're not really talking about yet. This one does have a specific mission for each one that you're going through, and characters that you'll have with you the whole way through, and that will talk to you and sort of give you direction. We've got these sort of intros and outros to each level that also give it context, as well as things within the game world. And then what I love is our animators have tried really hard to bring, and our designers and everyone else, but I love what the animators have done with the getting in and out of the Titan and sort of these cinematic moments that you're used to seeing in single-player campaigns, but we want you to have them in multiplayer because we think it makes you feel like you're very immersed in the game world.
Can you tell me if the levels or the areas you're fighting in are subject to change somehow?
Like damage?
Like damage, like scripted events, like special things happening, like using the environment, stuff like
that? Sure. There's no like sustained damage to the levels because you really need those buildings and those passages for the pilots. It would really break the gameplay balance that we were talking about beforehand. But the stuff that I was saying before, they're not really, there are scripted moments sometimes in the beginning of the levels that sort of introduce you to them. But when you're playing, it's, I don't even want to call it scripted. It's just the way that the mechanics work that makes it feel like it's a more scripted, even though it's not. And the way that the different elements of gameplay play together allows you to pull off some really cool stuff without it feeling like, oh, okay, now I have to do this. You can jump on the backs of the Titans and rip off the panels and take them down from the top. And we really designed it to be sort of dynamic and have all these things that are big moments, but you're going to make them happen. We don't make them happen.
That's
we
cool.
Just give you the tools.
That sounds good. And speaking of tools, what ways do players have to customize their playing experience. I'm talking about. I'm thinking about gear, armor, customizing Titans, perks, levels, all the Monty. Can you give me some details about that?
Well, at Gamescom, we're showing a couple of the different abilities that you'll have. The Titan, one of the Titans has like a smoke screen that goes out. One of them has the Vortex Shield, which you've seen, which catches bullet and throws it back. There are special abilities for pilots and Titans. We're showing a couple of them. As far as you can customize your loadout. At Gamescom, we have chosen them for you because we want you to have the best experience. We want people playing around in the menus and we want them to be playing the game. But in-game, you'll be able to choose your weapons and your abilities, and we've got a lot more to show that we aren't showing here yet.
So, and with the new console generation, everything's now online. You can kind of expect people to have a broadband connection, to be online all the time. Does this give you some more gameplay freedom and some more possibilities? Can you give me some hints on how you're using this?
Well, I mean, we're a multiplayer game, so always on is pretty important to what we're doing. But we do have a lot of features as far as matchmaking and progress, all this stuff that we aren't sadly talking about at Gamescom yet. But we'll get there. We're still developing some of them.
So you're trying to help us with the misery of hanging in the waiting queue. Please make this easier.
I don't know how to make it easier for you right now.
Magic?
I used to be press is the answer I hate to give the most, where I have to say, like, sorry, I can't tell you all about that stuff, but...
Okay, cool then. Well, thanks.
But I will, at some point, I totally will.
Okay, looking forward to that. And thank you for giving me the information you're allowed to about Titanfall. Looking good, and good luck with the project.
Wonderful.
Can you give me, the goodbye, when it's releasing, on which platforms?
Absolutely. We're releasing on Xbox One, Xbox 360, and PC, which we are definitely showing on in Germany, and it's coming out in spring 2014.
Thank you very much.
So welcome.
Und das war Titanfall.